What's going on, guys? It's your motivation guy, Keith Allen, and today we're going to be taking a close look at everyone's favorite recon legend. So while new recon characters have been added in recent seasons, we're going to talk about the OG ruler of the role, Bloodhound. Few legends can even begin to contest Bloodhound's strength, even in the hands of an inexperienced player. However, if you learn all the nuances and tricks to getting the most out of Bloodhound, this legend becomes an absolute menace. Are you guys ready to take a fresh look at an old face? Alright, let's get this going. Between scanning his enemies, tracking their actions, and turning on the predator vision, Bloodhound's abilities have one goal: find the enemy and hunt them down. Alright guys, let's do a quick overview of the Hound's kit, and then we're going to take a deeper dive on how to become a Bloodhound master. Okay, so let's start with their passive tracker. So true to its name, Bloodhound has the ability to track enemies if they were in an area recently. So there are a ton of actions that this ability can track. Anything from a footprint to a weapon reload. For 90 seconds after the action was performed, Bloodhound will have an indicator at the location. With how many actions this can track, what's important isn't so much what happened, but how recently it happened. So while it can be nice to know if there was a fight in the area, versus if an enemy just passed through, don't get too caught up on trying to analyze each track. Hovering these tracks with your reticle will allow you to see how long ago enemies were in the area, and you can even ping this out for your teammates. And so what's even better, and personally our favorite part of the passive, is that they are color coded. So if you see a gray track, this means it's older, and the enemy hasn't been in the area in about a minute. However, a recent track will be red, allowing you to quickly gauge how close enemies may be. And so without needing to hover the track, you can quickly tell if an enemy is nearby. One of Bloodhound's more underrated abilities, this passive gives them some extra information to make better decisions with the rest of their kit. And now, the ability that has kept Bloodhound in the meta for all these seasons, their scan. Okay, so Eye of the ALLFATHER is the single most powerful part of Bloodhound's kit, allowing you to scan in the direction you're facing, revealing traps and enemies. With the devs making the cooldown longer over the seasons and the range being at 75 meters, you do need to be more mindful of when you use this ability than you used to. However, if you are smart about its use, only using it when you have audio cues or other information to help you know the general area of the enemy, you're gonna have a hard time missing the scan. And so with this being said, there is a bit of an activation time, leaving you without your weapon at the ready for just shy of 2 seconds. With this in mind, it's important to use the scan early, not waiting until enemies are on top of you and you need to fight. And so there is nothing quite like always having a scan available to make your squad feel more secure and giving them all the info they need to start off a fight right. There are a ton of nuances to discuss with this ability, but we're going to get into more of those shortly. Alright everybody, to cap it all off, we have Beast of the Hunt. This ultimate ability feels great to use, giving Bloodhound a 30% speed increase, greatly lowering the activation time and cooldown of their scan, and giving them vision that highlights enemies red and allies blue. Alright, so this ability basically amplifies all of the good things about Bloodhound for 30 seconds, with the cooldown having a bit of an extension if you down someone while it's active. On top of that, it also lowers the cooldown and activation time of Bloodhound scan to 8 seconds and under 1 second respectively. Even if you don't manage to get a knock to extend the duration, you can get at least 3 scans in during this time, and they are much faster, allowing you guys to use them while in a bind. No other ultimate in the game gives the user so much individual power, combining speed and vision to help win gunfights with the innate power of a recon legend. And if you find yourself struggling to capitalize on the windows that Bloodhound's kit opens for you, or maybe you're just struggling to learn the legend, head on over to ProGuides.com. There you're gonna find the best coaches ready to help you guys level up your game in any way that it needs. Link is gonna be in the description. Alright guys, so with the ability basics out of the way, let's take a closer look at how you should be playing the recon role when on Bloodhound. So while this legend can be very forgiving because their abilities don't require you to commit to a fight or require as much precision as many other legends, where the skill really comes in is about smart usage of your abilities. So the biggest example in Bloodhound's kit is in their tactical ability. And so while it's easy to just activate it in the direction of enemies, you really want to have a more organized approach to using the scan. A big reason for this, it's just a very easy ability to see. If you hit a target with the scan, they're going to be alerted that they are revealed. And even if you miss the scan, it's still super easy to see from quite far ranges. The big orange aurora is the big animation, and scanning when you don't need to can often attract unwanted attention. And so whether you see red tracks on the ground in front of you, or your teammate calls out an enemy nearby, you should always do your best to save your scan until you are positive that you're going to hit someone with it. Okay, so with that being said, sometimes it's just worth the risk to just pop the scan as you're entering a new building or POI. And so while you don't want to attract too much attention, what you definitely don't want to do is die to somebody in a building that you easily could have seen with the push of a button. Using the scan well is an interesting give and take, but the general rule is to just be smart about using it. Don't just use it on cooldown and then find yourself without it when you really need the ability. So while Bloodhound scan is great for finding enemies, it's arguably even better for helping your squad pick your fights and win them. While it's great to get the max range scan on a squad pushing you, giving your team the heads up, where it really shines is when used right before gunfights. Having a scan up to use as you're tracking a gunfight gives you such an advantage. When enemies are scanned, they are basically forced to hide until the effect wears off, or risk peeking out and getting fried by your entire squad, who now knows their location. So scanning enemies just before you look to take a fight is going to give you a massive advantage, letting you pre-fire an enemy or just be fully prepared for their challenge. Bloodhound's ultimate is also best used in these scenarios right as you're looking to engage an enemy. It's really best to use it before you're fully into a fight for a variety of reasons. First, the thermal vision it provides will give you guys a better understanding of enemy locations, allowing you to hit your scans easier and easily just be able to see enemies when your scan isn't active. Second, the movement speed is huge for early position, allowing you guys to change angles, push, or retreat really fast. Second, the massive cooldown decrease on your scan when you're in your ultimate allows you to keep enemies scanned pretty consistently through a fight. This not only makes it easier for your squad to fight, but it puts the enemy on the back foot, forcing them to take unfavorable fights or turtle up to their current position. And lastly, the reset on the Beast of the Hunt timer when you get down can be huge in closing out a fight. While it should never be something you risk dying to extend, having your ult active right as you engage a fight will better your chances of prolonging the duration that you should down someone. And so just keep in mind that the ult is quite loud, so if the enemy is paying close attention, you're gonna give yourself away. However, since you're gonna be scanning them anyway, like once you're into your ult, it's usually not a huge deal, as they're definitely gonna know your location either way. Having a clear understanding of how Bloodhound's abilities interact with each other and getting the most out of the buffs that their ult gives you is key to being a good Bloodhound. And all of what we discussed today so far can really be applied to your game before you even shoot a single shot. But now, alright guys, let's talk about some fighting tips. Let's say that you scan an enemy in a nearby building and your squad is looking to fight. Okay, so as we discussed so far, timing your scan well is vital to help your team win the fight. And so if you have your ultimate up, these cooldowns will be much lower, allowing you to scan more and have less room for error. But when it's down, you've got to make sure that you're getting well-timed scans that hit all nearby enemies whenever possible. And so once you know enemy locations, just like every other time you fight in Apex, you need to move fast. If your plan is to take the fight, waste no time nading the building, pushing the building, or just laying down some damage through windows or openings. If it's the first time that you've hit an enemy with your scan, you likely have caught them off guard and you should look to capitalize on them not being prepared. If you wait until the scan wears off, you're going to be losing the power that Bloodhound's tactical gives you and any future scans the enemy will be ready for. This is where your ability to fight in Apex comes in. Bloodhound doesn't have any damaging abilities or crowd control in their kit, but if you're a good shot, there are a few legends that facilitate you dealing damage the way Bloodhound does. Knowing nearby enemy locations gives you ultimate freedom to take the fight on your terms. Whether you're pre-firing an enemy about to peek who is showing on your scan, or beaming a team crossing an open field, Bloodhound gives you better vision to hit shots than any other legend in the game. Seriously, between the Predator vision of their ultimate and the ability to scan enemies through walls, Seer is the only legend that can really begin to keep up with Bloodhound in scouting, and even if he doesn't have a built-in move speed on the ultimate. So speaking of that move speed, okay, when you combine it with Hound's ability to passively track enemies, if a team tries to bail while you're fighting, you're just very well equipped to hunt them down and finish them off. Don't be afraid, my friends, to pursue weak enemies that are making a last-ditch effort to survive. Enemies on the run is what Bloodhound is built for. So while Bloodhound may seem simple on the surface, the freedom they give you in-game with the info that their kit provides makes Hound a dynamic legend that really can allow a player with strong fundamentals dominate and a newer player get their bearings with the game. And I know they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I know if you guys apply the mindsets that we talked about today, you're gonna have no problem picking up Bloodhound or polishing your existing play on the legend. Let us know in the comments below if you have a Bloodhound tip that we did not get a chance to cover today, or what your favorite tip from today's video was. Once again, this is your motivation guide, Keith Allen. If you guys liked the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and connect with me on my Instagram at Your Motivation Guide. Listen, we believe in you, so keep going, never quit, never stop the grind. Keep going after your dreams, man. Just forget about the naysayers and keep going after what's in your heart. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.